What's up guys, my name is Javier and today we're going to be reviewing the Canon 90D. There's a lot of great cameras out there, a lot of great DSLRs, and it's hard to choose which one to pick. You get Sony, you get Canon, but we're mainly focusing on the features and specs on the Canon 90D. I'm going to also compare it to my current Sony a6000. I use that to take photo shoots of landscape photography, portraits, and other pictures. So we're going to be comparing it to that. So I already unboxed this. I'm just showing you what the box looks like, what's around it. Pretty much this is a Canon EOS 90D with the EF mount of 18 to 55 millimeter. So I got the base model really. I didn't go with the bigger lens because I don't think I needed it, but this is what you get. So the camera starts at 34.4 megapixel stereo camera with a 6960 by 4640. So that's a high resolution for a good photo. Sensor size is 22.3 by 14.8 millimeter. And the image, pretty much image file size is about the JPEG and RAW. So that's what the two options you get when taking a photo. And you have the ISO to push from 100 to 25,600. So I think that's a pretty good ISO for the Canon 90D. Definitely compares to the Sony a6000. Also, the Canon 90D has continuous shooting up to 10 frames per second, which is shoots at 32.5 megapixels, which is pretty good if you're taking sports photography. You also have a little self timer in there, up to 10 seconds. So you could set self timer to take a family portrait or get a shot. And the Canon 90D has your traditional full HD video at 1080p at 60 frames per second and 4K to 30 frames per second. That's a new firmware. I haven't done that yet. I can make a separate video on how to update your current Canon 90D if you haven't already. The recording limit on the Canon 90D is about 30 minutes. 30 minutes to be exact. So I wouldn't expect to run anything further than that. I think that's a good time limit. A lot of cameras, even compared to the Sony, end at 20 minutes. Depending on the resolution that you shoot in. It has autofocus and manual focus as well, so you could change on the lens to manual or auto, and it also has a stabilizer built into the lens. So let's get the camera out of the box and I'll show you what came in the camera, or what came in the box. I purchased this from B&H, and B&H has a great deal right now. This video is not sponsored by B&H. This camera starts at $11.99. So the cool thing about B&H is that they give you a lot of bundles and deals with cameras. And I've found this a better deal than when I went over to Best Buy. Best Buy was a little bit more expensive and didn't give you that as much in the box. At B&H, they give you the camera, the lens, and also Lumiere 4. I've never used Lumiere at all before. I might do another review on Lumiere 4. I never tried it before. I've always used Photoshop and other editing softwares like on the Mac on photos. Also, it gives you 2 batteries and 2 wall chargers and a car charger, which is pretty cool. So let's get these out of the box real quick. So pretty much what came in the box were these 2 wall chargers, 2 different ones. These are the main Canon one, and I guess this is a third-party wall charger. And this also comes off, so I'm guessing maybe a universal adapter that comes with it. Not entirely sure. So it's pretty cool. You have the little prong here in the back just to plug it into the wall. I'm guessing that's a universal adapter you could take off and on. This is the main Canon wall charger that came in the box. Also, it comes with your 2 batteries in this cool little packaging. So it's pretty nice. These batteries are the LPES. So I would say pretty traditional in other Canon cameras. They look pretty much the same. They last longer for sure. So these, I had this last about 2 days, and I've heard that it can last up to 800 shots in one full battery. So I'll test it out and see for myself and see how that lasts long. So I mean, testing out in 4K as well. If you're recording in 4K, you're probably gonna see the battery fall a little bit faster, but it just depending on how long you take the camera. So those two came in the box. Also came with a car charger, which I haven't used yet, and I don't know where that plugs into. I'm guessing, here it is. So it plugs into this guy here, and pretty much you just charge it while you go in the car. So that's pretty handy. I've never seen one of these before. It also came with a universal adapter. So when you're traveling around, you just plug it right into the adapter. So now we'll get into the main camera, which you all been waiting for. This is the Canon 90D. So for first time buyer on a DSLR, this is a pretty good camera. My first impressions of this, it's very, I would say it's very light. It's not too heavy. It does get tiring after a while holding this, so you might need a tripod or a little grip thing you put underneath. And so it's very nice. He has a good, nice grip up here up front, so you won't drop it. So this is, like I said, the 18 to 55 millimeter lens with the AF and MF automatic focus and manual focus buttons here on the side, and the stabilizer on and off. I normally leave it on. And this lens cap up there. So all around, this is a very good camera to start off with, to take photos or video as well. This is my first ever DSLR camera, so I think this is a very good purchase. Even though this came out about 9 months ago, this still is a pretty good DSLR camera. So I've taken multiple photos on these. I did a photo shoot with my girlfriend Destiny. I'll show the photos here on the side. And they turned out way better than what the Sony a6000. The Sony a6000 has a 24 megapixel, unlike this has a 32 megapixel, and even on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, definitely beats the iPhone for sure. It's hard to notice a difference coming from the iPhone to the Canon 90D. They all look great. It's so hard to distinguish which one is which. I'll throw some photos here at the end of the video, but the Canon 90D is a great camera to start off with. Very lightweight, easy to use. If you don't know how to use it, you just kick it in automatic, so it'll automatically take the photo for you, or in manual. Manual is pretty easy to use as well. You got your manual focus here up front, zoom in and out here as well on the side, so you could manually change the ISO, the lighting as well, the f-stop. So, and then it has this cool flip out display here. So yeah, you have a nice nice screen here, so you could use it for vlogging, for your webcam, streaming, anything like that really, or taking a photo, taking a selfie. So pretty much it just flips back here. The cool thing about screens like these is that if you're taking low shots, you could turn the screen up. High shots, you could turn the screen down, so you could easily see what you're taking. The Canon 90D is a great camera, like I said, to start off with, to take photography, portraits, landscapes, and other photos. The Canon 90D also has a Bluetooth compatibility as well, so I found that very helpful to transfer photos and videos from the Canon to my iPhone. You just download the Canon app. I'll leave in the description down below. And so pretty much you pair it via Bluetooth using Wi-Fi as well. And you can set an auto transfer. So every time you take a photo, it'll automatically transfer to your phone. And you can easily just upload it up to social media, YouTube, Facebook. And yeah, I found that very helpful. I don't have to take my laptop with me, plug it in, or take the SD card out. And I found a lot of DSLRs have the SD card in the bottom of the camera. So when this is on a tripod, you can't really take out the SD card. So what Sony did is that they put a little door here on the side, so easily you could take out and put in a new SD card if you wanted to. So you don't have to unscrew the camera from the tripod. So that's very helpful. when you're on the go and you're constantly recording video or taking photos. So if you fill up your SD card, you can take it out and put a new one in. It also has a cool face tracking feature inside, so I found it very helpful as well. If you are vlogging though, and I tested this out for a day. If you are vlogging and you're recording yourself, that's great. It'll automatically track your face and keep you in focus. But if you flip it around and want to take the action around you, it's gonna try and focus on a face. So it's not gonna focus at all. You're gonna have to constantly press this button here or the AF on the back to focus, because what it's doing is trying to focus on the face, not the whole scene. So you want to change that tracking to zone automatic focus, so which will capture the whole frame. So if you do vlog on this, just make sure that feature is turned off. The battery is on the Canon 90D. It's a lithium ion battery at 1600 milliamps, so which is, I say, it's still a pretty good long-lasting battery. And the good thing about buying it through B&H is that not only you get 2 batteries in the bundle, you also get another battery in the box where the camera came in. So you're pretty much having 3 batteries on the go. So it's gonna last you a pretty long time. The batteries itself, I would say they cost. The batteries itself separate, they probably would have cost about, I would say, $30 to $40 each. So you spend a little bit more time, a little bit more money if you bought the batteries separate, and unlike the bundle here that gives you everything in the box. $1,200, it's pretty good for what you get. Also, you get an SD card at 60 gigabytes. So the 60 card itself would have cost you at least $50 or more. So the bundle on B&H definitely will save you a lot of money. I'll leave that link down below. Batteries that came with the camera do take a while to fully charge. It takes about 4 hours to charge fully. Just make sure all your batteries are charged up, because they do take a long time. So overall, I think the Canon 90D is a great starter camera for anyone that wants to do photography or has never purchased a DSLR. This is a great camera to own. It's very easy to use. At first, yeah, you get overwhelmed with all the buttons here on the back, but once you start using it, once you go out and taking photos, all the buttons will be very easy and quickly to pick up. So you won't get lost along the way. I've had struggles with it the first time I used it, but I got used to it. Easy to use. You know where the buttons are. Like I said, this is a great camera to start off with, to take photos of your dog, your family, more professionally photos, and like to take photos of landscape, portraits, weddings as well. So definitely going to use this for a wedding this year that I got hired to do. Definitely going to try out different resolutions and upload them onto this channel for you to see the difference between 1080p at 60 frames and 4K at 30 frames. And I would recommend just updating this camera once you get it in. So update the firmware, because you get the newer features of the recording as well. So I think the problem was shooting at 4K at 24 frames per second instead of 30. So a lot of people record at 4K at 30 frames per second. A stabilizer built into the lens and into the camera itself. So you can shoot 4K with the enhanced stabilizer, but it does crop in a little bit. There's an advanced one, but that crops in a lot. So you're gonna lose a lot of real estate while you're shooting 4K. So I typically turn that off and try to get a stabilizer for the Canon, or for the camera, and try to keep it steady at all times. Just make sure when you're putting on a lens, make sure you're inside a closed environment, in your car, in your house, because you don't want to get any dust inside the sensors inside. So if you do, it's going to be hard to clean, and if it gets dusty and it breaks, you do have to get, like, it's pretty expensive. Also, B&H has also a protection plan on it, just in case if you break it. anything else that will cover it. So just make sure when you're switching lenses, either close it with the cap or quickly remove the lens. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe down below. More videos about the Canon 90D coming soon. And I'm also going to do another video on how I edit my photos using photos on the MacBook Pro or on any Apple computer. So for a lot of people that don't have like Photoshop, you could definitely use photos and get even professionally done edits on it. So I'll definitely do a review on that. So I'll see you guys in the next video.